paper? What's going on inside the receiver's head? What's going inside the ball's head? What's going inside the head of the pig that became the ball? Is that little pig thinking, hey, why is that dude coming at me with a butcher's knife out of a pig, Irwin? Sunday NFL Countdown, the hardest working pregame show in football, begins this Sunday at 11 on ESPN, presented by Old Spice.
Outside the Lines, presented by State Farm. Like a good...
It's NFL prime time. Old faces in new places. T.O.'s an Eagle. Is he the missing Super Bowl piece? Prime time's prowling the Ravens secondary. Sap's in Oakland. Would he dance? A giant decision in New Jersey. Portis runs free in D.C., while a familiar face is back in his old driver's seat. Vinny's the Tuna's picking Big D. His old picket back shows he's still got jets. You gotta win on the road. Seattle gets the message, and the Gorillas off the Lions' back. We're back, and we can't wait. Week 1 on NFL Prime Time.
Primetime is presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Oh, we wait for this all year long, and hopefully so do you. Hi, everybody. Chris Berman along with Tom Jackson. 18 years on NFL Primetime together.
Good to be here.
And look, Tom, they built us a new ballpark.
I love the digs.
What do you think?
I love the new
Did you
digs.
buy club seats yet?
Yes, I have mine.
Luxury box, executive parking?
Back there.
Did you have a pregame, postgame spread?
Anything I need.
And you know what? We're back, new digs, and you know who else is back? This just in. Joe Gibbs. Someone told me he's coaching the Redskins again.
I don't think he forgot how.
Yeah, in the Hall of Fame, might know something about coaching the Redskins at home against Tampa Bay, who a year ago at this time were the defending Super Bowl champs. Here we go. Why not start with a Hall of Famer back? It's Joe Gibbs. And he loves his running backs, usually the John Riggins larger variety, but you know what? This is Clinton Portis. He'll take a little speed, and he could go all the way. Look at all the fans shouting touchdown. 7-0 Washington. He's got a running back, Tom.
And boom, you get a great view of this. The pull by the guard, the tackle on the offside. Clinton Portis makes a better read than the linebackers off of this, cuts it off the backside, and he's one of the few guys in this league that can take it 64, 74, 80, and beyond.
John Hall has kicked a field goal, 10-0 Redskins, second quarter. Brad Johnson at Joey Galloway. He drops it, he leaves with a groin strain, and late news, he could be out for a majority of the season. Galloway just oft injured. What can you say?
Unfortunate, and somewhere Keenan McCardell is very interested in how this is going to play out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, meanwhile, third quarter, 10-3, Mark Brunell, the new quarterback. Fumble! Rondé Barber, that opportunistic Tampa Bay defense, scoops it up, and we're tied at 10. It looked like, what, he tripped over the center?
Well, the center stepped on his foot as he was coming out. He tried to get the ball to Portis. Ball took an opportunistic bounce for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And so, tied at 10. Johnson then trying to make something happen early fourth quarter. Antonio Pierce, right man at the midfield stripe, and now he's into Tampa Bay territory with the pick, and look what happened, Tom?
Receiver down the seam, blitz package coming at Brad Johnson, didn't have a chance to step into his throw. Antonio Pierce comes from the opposite numbers.
And it ends up being a field goal. And then here's Matt Bowen with the big blitz, and Johnson just didn't have a chance, Tommy.
Well, he had a lot of pressure on him all day, but when you look at this is just a great job of timing out a blitz coming from the quarterback's backside. I say backside because he never had a chance to really see him as he was looking to his right to get rid of the football.
Greg Williams, that's the former Bills coach and defensive coordinator. Joe Gibbs shaking hands, and guess what? At 12 years off, last time he coached the Skins, 92, he's 1-0. Joe Gibbs now 141-65 as the Redskins beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 16-10. They got Giants and Dallas in the division coming up. And after the game, Joe Gibbs said, well, let's see. Clinton Portis had 148 yards. My defense made some big plays, so it ain't me, babe.
As a family and everything else for us, for me personally, it was a big deal. I told our players I'm kind of, hopefully now, I think the attention can go on them. They made all the great plays today, and I think for the coaching staff, I was really happy for all of us. But the players deserve the credit, and from here on out, hopefully that's the way all this will go.
You know, not that 1992 is ancient history. Joe Gibbs with the 3 Super Bowl crowns for the Redskins, but when he retired, there were 28 teams in the league. They're now 32. There were 6 divisions. They're now 8. There were 2 teams in L.A., and they're now none. They had no 2-point conversion. Free agency, what? He's back.
Inside the Numbers, brought to you by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game.
I think there's one thing we know about Joe Gibbs is, okay, we think of, okay, John Riggins or even Gerald Riggs or Ernest Biner, by the way, is on that staff, that dream staff of his. Clinton Portis, not his type of back. Oh, no, a good running back is his type of back, Tom.
Well, Boom, I think he recognized exactly what he needed in today's game, and it might not be exactly John Riggins, however great he was. So many great moves made around the league. Let's take a look at a couple of facets of Clinton Portis's game. When you think about the long run, this is a chess match between the linebackers and the running back. You're going to see the pull to the left as the H-back comes across. They seal on that side. This play is supposed to go left. Clinton Portis reads the backside, reads the opening. The linebackers overrun. He cuts it through what we call defensively the back door, and he is off to the races. Play number 2 is going to be a sweep because now you need a guy who has the speed to get to the outside. There's the pull, guard, tackle, tight end, everybody coming. Clinton Portis not only has the ability to get through the middle of the field, he can get outside as well. Big first down right there. And here, Clinton Portis right up the gut. Look at the push by the lineman. That's one-on-one blocking, short yardage type of carrying the football. Clinton Portis can do that as well. So I think that what he got in Clinton Portis is a guy who can do it all. He can get inside, outside, and he makes great reads at the line of scrimmage, something he did for the Broncos as well.
And even though it was not Mark Brunell's most stellar performance, remember, I mean, except for early September last year, he didn't start.
Right.
I mean, he didn't play. But what can Portis do for a guy like Brunell, you know, when they play action and other things?
Well, 29 carries for 148 yards, and I didn't think it was a great game for Clinton Portis.
Well,
you know, he had the long run, and then he just kept at it. But he's going to protect the quarterback by running like that.
Tampa Bay now starts out with a loss. They kind of never got going after that last year, the beginning of last season. So we shall see Tampa Bay kind of a new team. So many different guys there on that ball club. When we return, Dion, how did he fare in his first effort since 2000? Terrell Owens, how did he fare? Hint, pretty good for the Eagles against the Giants. Some of them are the spectacular variety, and yep, he struck the post. Roy Williams and the Lions. 24 straight road losses. Could they get the 1,000-pound gorilla off their backs? We'll be back.
Kick off each and every weekend with the new ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass.
Presented by Miller Lite. Grab yourself a great-tasting low-carb Miller Lite. And in part by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game.
7 new coaches, although it's hard to call Joe Gibbs a new coach in the NFL, but 7 coaches starting anew with teams, and 3 of them had never coached as head coach in the NFL before, and that would be Lovie Smith with the Chicago Bears, that would be Jim Mora Jr. With the Atlanta Falcons, and that would be Mike Mularkey with the Buffalo Bills. Mularkey against a guy in all of his second year, Jack Del Rio. Here we go with the Jags at the Buffalo Bills, and who would circle these wagons? The Jags were winless on the year all last year on the road. Mike Mularkey, how would he do it? Hard to win your first game as head coach. I mean, it just is. Drew Bledsoe to Eric Moulds. 17-yard touchdown. Mularkey brought in to juice up the offense. Team had no defensive problems last year. 7-0 Buffalo. Then a blitz on Byron Leftwich, Ron Edwards, Pearson Prelo. And Bills, you know they can play some D. It's a 7-6 game. Both offenses sputtering from here on in. Inside the red zone, Bledsoe to Eric Moulds. Deion Grant hits him. It's a fumble. And that's going to be 2 fumbles in the red zone on this day by Moulds. It killed the Bills.
You know, preseason guys don't get as many touches now. It happens to you, and we see it early in the season.
And then after an Leftwich interception, the Bills in the red zone. Oh, it's the sack Lionel Barnes does it, and Bledsoe had a receiver. It was Shelton open here, Tom.
Well, and look at Shelton crossing. It looks like Bledsoe's looking right at him, pulls the ball back down, and takes the sack. And let's realize Bledsoe's one of those guys sacked 40 or more times the last few years.
So they make a Ryan Lindell field goal. Earlier, he missed a short field goal, 10-6 Buffalo. 4th and 14, minute 18 to go, and the Bills have... No, wait a minute now. Jimmy Smith, another clutch catch on 4th and 14, a 45-yard play. Jags in business. 1st and goal from the 7. Smith, it's incomplete. Just seconds to go. 2nd and goal. Leftwich to Troy Edwards, incomplete. 3rd and goal with 7 seconds to go. Leftwich, incomplete. And now, the Jags go for it. Who'd win the game? Final play. Clock running out. To the back of the end. Oh, my goodness. Ernest Wilford between 3 Bills. Did he get his feet down? Did he hold the ball? Was he pushed out? They look at it. And first of all, look at the catch between 3 guys and the throw.
Well, I thought he had the football. I thought his feet got down, and I thought before he got pushed out, both feet were in. So that adds up to a catch.
Well, he did everything right, and the Buffalo Bills gave a 4th and 14. They fumbled in the red zone. They missed the field goal, and the big cut play made by 4th-round draft pick Ernest Wilford from Virginia Tech. So, you know, quarterbacks that come from Virginia Tech. Well, here's a wide receiver, and that's a big win, and the Jags are off that road schneid. But losing 9 in a row on the road is nothing compared to what the Detroit Lions have done on the road. 24 straight games they've lost on the road. Steve Mariucci wondering, would this be the day? Start the new season. Why not? Joey Harrington, Roy Williams, they were their #1 draft pick. Great catch by Roy Williams. And Tommy, we know what kind of player he is.
Yeah, cover 2 safety coming over. Look at him ignore that. The great concentration, getting the hands out. And this kid's going to be a great one, Boom.
It's 7-3, the Bears, and Paul Edger. No! Field goal blocked by Sean Rogers. Bracey Walker's going to pick it up, and the 11-year veteran's got a convoy. Look downfield. The 2nd-round pick for the Detroit Lions is Teddy Lehman. You know he likes the stick. The young man from Oklahoma makes the block. He could go all the way, 92 yards, and the Lions are leading 10-7 with a huge special team play. Now it's Bears 14-13 in the 4th. Harrington to Zakeem Hachu. It's 20-14 Detroit. Now under 2 minutes to go. Bears driving, no timeouts. Rex Grossman. David Terrell had a big day over the middle. 19 yards, 1st down. Tick, 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 tick. Running the ball this year is Thomas Jones. 15-yard run, 1st and goal. On 3rd and goal now, Grossman scrambling. Look for Terrell in the end zone. No, and it's picked up by the same guy. Bracey Walker, Bracey Walker with the play.
But take a look at what Grossman was looking at, and you have to make good decisions at the quarterback position, and in the red zone, there's no way you can squeeze that ball in to the receiver.
And Steve Mariucci, as Lions coach, has his first road win as the Lions beat the Bears 20-16. The last win on the road for Detroit. Gary Moeller was head coach December 17, 2000, when they were at the Jets. And on this day, a sweet return, although you would never hear it from one of the classiest guys in the business. Dick Duran was the Bears coach. He's now defensive coordinator at Detroit. I'm sure he's enjoying it. His whole player's expensive. But now it's over, Tom. It's all over. 24 straight losses on the road. They're not going to add to it. The Lions have the record, but this year is a new year, and all they know is they're 1-0 on the road. Now, let me just fill in a little bit of a blank. What you didn't see there was that they were up by 6 points. Steve Mariucci, under 2 minutes to go, said, let's take an intentional safety. They were punting out of their own end zone, which is a smart move. They're still up by 4. So you have a free punt off, and R.W. McQuarters returns it, 37 yards into Detroit territory. Right. You saw that they got close. You don't break a 24-game road winning streak by winning 35-3. It's just not going to happen.
You know it's going to be tough. We talk to a lot of coaches around the league, and when they get to a team, they want to know what is it that we haven't accomplished. You know, whether that's we haven't beaten this team on the road or we haven't won our opener in the last 4 or 5 years. In the case of this football team, it was, as Boom has described it, a gorilla on their back. We've lost 3 years worth of games on the road. It was going to be difficult. I think it's very important that they got rid of that gorilla the first week of the season. Now it's gone. Now they can move on. Now we know we can win on the road. And, you know, we talk about teams winning and getting places they want to get with, and you don't have to win the first game. I thought that this first victory for Detroit was more important than it was maybe to any other team in the league.
I agree. The loss streak, the division went on the road. The only problem, Charles Rogers, remember the #1 wide receiver draft pick last year who missed just about the whole year with a broken collarbone? Well, he broke his collarbone again. He might miss the majority or all of the year. Not sure quite yet, but he got hurt in this game. So you break that 24-game losing streak, you know the news is not all good. That's just kind of the way it is. When we return on this edition of NFL Primetime, speaking of primetime, had a Dion do in his action for the Ravens against the Browns. Certainly easy win for Baltimore when you think of what Jamal Lewis did last year. And Jerome Bettis had the stat line of not only the day, of the year, maybe the century. We'll explain. Immense last year when the Chiefs beat the Broncos early in the year. One of the great returns you'll ever see. Chiefs and Broncos, the 1-2 teams in the AFC West, opening up in Tom's old haunts at Denver.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
It is our privilege to welcome all of our viewers, of course, but we know that we have some special men and women watching at Camp Arif John in Kuwait right now. I know it's in the middle of the night. We know that out there, but it doesn't matter for them because they're on duty 24/7. And if we can bring a little bit of home to those gentlemen and ladies that are out there serving our country,
we appreciate their effort.
Then we're doing the best, especially this week. We don't need to tell you. It's rather poignant. So football from us to you, and we're happy to serve it. Now here we go with a guy who you might know as the name on this show, Prime Time. Deion Sanders last played in 2000 for Washington. Now he's wearing his age, number 37, as Baltimore was playing at Cleveland. Never had a ball really thrown his way, and here he is, though, as he said this morning, Tom, on a punt. Prime Time. No tackles, a 5-yard return for punt, quiet day. Jamal Lewis had 500 yards in 2 games against Cleveland last year. How do you think he did today? Not as well, Tom. 20 carries for 57 yards. Obviously, the Browns did not want to get embarrassed. 3-3, third quarter. 3rd and 10. Jeff Garcia, new quarterback. Rookie tight end Kellen Winslow caught 4 for 39. 2 plays later, Garcia to Quincy Morgan, and he's wide open. 10-3 Cleveland.
Well, great job of throwing the ball over the top by Garcia. I think that sometimes he has a bit of trouble seeing the short and intermediate routes, but he can certainly see the deep routes.
How about this coverage by Anthony Henry as Kyle Bowler is picked off. Bowler was picked off twice on the day. Meanwhile, Garcia was 15-24, 180, but made the big throws here from the shadow of his own goalpost. Wide open is Andre Davis. They got 2 Andre Davises on the team. This is the receiver. So where's that Ravens secondary? Dawson's field goal, 13-3. Kennard Lang beating Jonathan Ogden's replacement. He was hurt, didn't play the game. Ethan Brooks, and he forces the fumble. Lang had 2 sacks. He forced the fumble, and now, as a result, play act. And Garcia can do this, Tom. He smells the corner.
Garcia outside the pocket, using his legs, getting into the end zone, and this is what the Browns expect from him. Big plays both with his arms and his legs.
And in a game that a lot of people thought was a no-doubter, it goes no doubt the other way. Cleveland beats Baltimore 20-3, and in the game, it's just odd. It's the first time that Art Modell is no longer the owner of Baltimore. At Cleveland, hey, they like beating Baltimore nevertheless. And a big win for the Cleveland Browns, who you thought going into the year might be one of the teams that struggles the most. Guess what? They're 1-0. Speaking of teams that you think would struggle, the San Diego Chargers at Houston, where the Texans have never lost an opening day game. They're 2-0. LaDainian Tomlinson coming back to his home state in Texas, down 6-3, and Tomlinson bounces outside. Look at him turn on the Jets, and then go inside the 5, a 32-yard run. Guess who would score the touchdown after that?
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Good guess, Tom. 10-6 Chargers. Down 13-10 in the third. Drew Brees. Rashae Caldwell. Where's the defense? 17-13. San Diego Superchargers. Now Houston coming back. Dominic Davis had 2 costly fumbles, but had this touchdown. St. Dominic's preview, 20-17 Houston. Field goal San Diego tied at 20. Drew Brees was immense on this drive in the fourth quarter. What a catch by Eric Parker. He gets the feed in 27-20.
And let's watch the maturation of Drew Brees here. Back, looking left, giving the pump fake to the left, pulling away from where he wants to throw the ball, pulling the coverage away, and coming back to Parker with a strike at the back of the end zone.
Very nice. So now, can Houston behind David Carr tie it down 27-20? Davis, here's one of those fumbles I was talking about. Tom, Steve Foley, your teammate, still in the league?
Still playing?
Yeah, I guess. He recovered the fumble. It's the ball. There it is. The ball did pop out before the knee was down. 3rd and 4. This is what we show you on prime time. A 3rd and 4, 2 minutes to go. And LaDainian Tomlinson with an 8-yard run. It's not the greatest run of the game he had, not the greatest run of the year, but it kept the clock moving and it secured. What a big win for Marty Schottenheimer and the downtrodden San Diego Chargers, who get, as usual, a huge game from LT, 121 yards. Young tight end Antonio Gates. I want you to remember that name. 8 catches for 123. And you know what? Drew Brees, given perhaps the chance because Rivers held out. He's another Texan that went back home, 17-24, 209. Nice homecoming for Tomlinson and Brees. Hey, the Chargers and Browns are 1-0.
Yeah, and a big win for Marty Schottenheimer. I thought Coach went through a tough year last year. What a great way to get off to a good start.
All right, when we return, Curtis Martin slowing down a bit. He really does. He's not too bad. Jets, Bengals. Boy, what a fun game this was to watch. And Kurt Warner, the Giant, gave it his best against Philadelphia. Could the Giants spring an upset in the land of brotherly love?
Intimidated?
Sunday Night Football, watching the Chiefs get ready in Denver. Is that a drill they do because the altitude? I don't know, a mile high. Chiefs, Broncos, bottom of the hour. You heard us talk about it on the Sunday NFL Countdown. What a great year last year for the quarterbacks, the co-MVPs, McNair and Manning. Brett Favre had another season to beat the band. Tom Brady, all he does is win Super Bowls, so quarterbacking alive and well. And now you have the new breed, and 2 of them faced off against each other at the Meadowlands. That would be Chad Pennington making his first opening day start for the Jets, and Carson Palmer making his first start at all for the Cincinnati Bengals. They put on a heck of a show, and so did a running back who's been around a little bit longer than those 2 gentlemen. It's our prime cut, Carson Palmer. Last year, he watched John Kitna lead the Bengals back to respectability, but now it's his turn. Meanwhile, opening kickoff, Jonathan it's the opening kickoff. Oh, the Jets fireman Ed turned his hat backwards, and Jonathan Carter fumbled. So right away, the Bengals in business, and who are they going to give it to, Tom? Well, Corey Dillon is a Patriot, so it's Rudy, touchdown. And so 7-0 Bengals right away. Here we go in the first. The Jets have driven to 3rd and goal. Chad Pennington, the screen to Curtis. My favorite, Martin. Touchdown. We're tied at 7. Game on. Later in the first, the Jets moving 2nd and 2 of their own 21. They hand off to Martin. And look at Curtis bounce. He's been in the... Tom, he's 31 years old. I thought you're supposed to lose it when you get to 30 at a running back. Pennington deep. Jonathan Carter, the man that fumbled the kick, hauls in the bomb, 14-7.
Yeah, Jets get a matchup that they like at the top of the screen. You see Carter doesn't get bumped off the line of scrimmage. Again, you come up in that position as a corner, you want to get a bump, you want to impede the receiver's progress downfield. You don't, then you have a chase all the way to the goal line.
21-10 Jets, but look at Palmer, has nobody. And Tom, you point out the speed of this young man. Wow! Takes off, it's a first down run. Then, play action. Palmer, boy, does he look under control. The pass to Kenny Watson, but he lost it. Ends up being a touchdown. Bengals within 4, 21-17. Now 24-17. Look at Martin. He's lost the... No, he's not! Look at him down the sideline. Touchdown. 31-17 on the 28-yard touchdown by Martin. 6.5 minutes to go. Play fake. Carson Palmer. How about this catch by Chad Johnson? Wow, beautiful throw, beautiful catch, 53 yards. And Johnson gives Palmer the ball. Welcome to the NFL, your first career touchdown pass, but this one not so good. Eric Coleman, under 2 minutes to go, saves the day for the Jets in a game just as entertaining as it looked. The Jets, behind Pennington and Curtis Martin, defeat the Cincinnati Bengals 31-24. Curtis Martin, 29 carries for 196 yards. And on this day, how about this? The Jets ran for 219, and they threw for 219.
Well
pretty
balanced.
darn impressive. How about Martin here, Tommy, when you look at this? It's, on opening day, the 7th best effort ever. OJ with the gloves that fit ran for 250 on opening day 73. Eddie George, George Rogers, Gerald Riggs, Deuce. How about Big Boo Boulash? We haven't seen that name up there for a while. And 196, Tom.
Well, Curtis Martin, outstanding day, but you have to remember his offensive line. Kevin Moreeeee and company, they were clearing the way in front of him.
These are two teams that are coming, Tom. The Jets and the Bengals. Raiders, Steelers. Raiders now with Warren Sapp. Figuring that they're, only a year away removed from a Super Bowl appearance. But the Steelers are going to run the ball more. In the first drive of the game, it was Deuce Staley. They said that he would carry the load, and he did. 3rd and goal, the bus, touchdown. A 1-yard run, 7-0. Pittsburgh, an impressive opening drive. They had the ball for the first 8 minutes of the game. Then, Rich Gannon. And Aaron Smith picks it up, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, inside the 30. Oh, he's down. And it's a 49-yard return. Leads to another touchdown by Bettis, 14-0 Steelers. But then Gannon pump fakes, and Doug Gabriel blowing his horn, blowing. Boy, the Steelers still have trouble at the DB, don't they?
Yes.
14-7, Tom, at the Ham Pittsburgh. 21-13, 4th and 12 Raiders. Gannon firing. Oh, to Elvis Whitted. Norb wants to go up long. Looks like stable at a branch.
Well, the exact same play, the pump outside, great concentration by Whitted at the back of the end zone to get his feet down. The Raiders were threatening to win the game.
And they got to go for 2, and Whitted catches it. We're tied at 21. Now Pittsburgh, 2 minutes to go. Hines Ward had a big day. Tommy Maddox finds him right there. Ward catching 7 for 99. That sets up. From 42 yards, Jeff Reed. Good. It's good. And so the Steelers blow a 2-touchdown lead, but at home, boy, bringing back memories of what that great rivalry was in the 70s as the Steelers beat the Raiders 24-21. Rich Gannon threw for 305. Deuce Staley, 24 carries, 91. But I want you to hear the bet. Look at the bottom right of your screen. Jerome Bettis, 5 carries, 1 yard, 3 touchdowns. Tom, I've watched a lot of football.
I don't know.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that?
I don't know. Yeah. More touchdowns than yards? I don't know.
So we average...
average one touchdown per
1 piece per carry when it's a touchdown. At any rate, when we return, Sean Alexander, big day, but some trepidation for Seahawks fans. Randy Moss against the Cowboys. Michael told us this morning, still not happy that Dallas didn't have him. Likes to come up big against Dallas, did he?
ESPN joins the fans of the most beautiful
ESPN roars into the regular season with 2 great games to get you in the mood for American football. The high-powered offense of the Kansas City Chiefs charge into enemy territory to take on the stampeding Denver Broncos. Chiefs-Broncos live tonight. Then Brett Favre leads the Green Bay Packers against the defending NFC champion Carolina Panthers. Are you ready for some football? Chiefs-Broncos live tonight. Packers-Panthers live Monday on ESPN. Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
Cardinals at St. Louis. They once played there, but meanwhile, these Arizona Cardinals have Denny Green as the new head coach. Could they go into St. Louis and pull a huge upset? They lost 13 straight on the road. Josh Tears of McCown to the #1 pick, Larry Fitzgerald.
Guy who's not completely healthy, so look for better things as the weeks go on from Fitzgerald.
How about Emmitt Smith? Look at Emmy. Touchdown, 11 yards. The Cardinals lead late third, 10-9. However, look at Marshall Faulk with an 18-yard run, a first down ran. A lot lower scoring than you would have thought. Mark Bolger, if I only could throw to my receiver. James Darling picks it off, and oh my darling, he could go all the way. And it looks like so does every other member of the Arizona defense. However, in true Arizona fashion, a flag on the play. And Brandon Malamalayuna was the intended receiver here, Tom.
Yeah, and you can see him right there being held.
Yeah.
And that's an obvious call.
Yeah,
An obvious call down in the red zone for any official.
All right, Mark, I'm sorry. So Bolger comes back. If I only could find Isaac Bruce. Touchdown. 8 yards. Marshall Faulk tacks on a two-point conversion at 17-10. Not really the score you thought, although the Rams had 448 yards on this day. Marshall had 128 yards running, and one thing that kept the Rams down is they had 3 turnovers. By the way, another guy we should talk about, the youngster, the running back Steven Jackson, running a lot in the fourth quarter. Ran for 50 yards. Emmett had 87. You know what? Emmett, Marshall, Curtis, they've done this before.
Well, you know, some people say, boy, they're old running backs. I don't like that word old. I think that they're vintage running backs, and they're getting better with age, like good wine. So let's take a look at some of these guys. And, you know, you think about Marshall Faulk. He had 22 for 128. But we're going to show you Curtis Martin. Curtis Martin, 2 guys out in front. He's able to turn that corner. He's still got the speed. This is a guy who's gained 1,000 yards his first 9 years in the season. Barry Sanders, the only one to do it the first 10 years. Emmitt Smith, great job of reading his blocks. Look at him time it out very well. Get to the outside. Gets a block from the wide receiver downfield. He gets a touchdown. And Jerome Bettis, we saw the numbers, his 1 yard gain, but 3 touchdowns. But this is what Bill Cowher wants him to do. When we get down around the goal line, I need a guy to be able to punch it in. So when you get these guys and they're running like this, and I know it's early on in the season, but boy, if these guys would continue to run like this, you're going to have some tremendous numbers, especially Jerome Bettis, who if he was...
I didn't do the math before, but as our old friend Ali Sherman used to say, let's see, he averaged 7 inches per carry today, although 3 touchdowns. The equipment man tripping over a trunk averages more than that. But you know what? That's what he's there for, the bus in the end zone. Here we go now. The Seahawks, a team that was 2-7 on the road last year, including the playoff loss, the heartbreaker at Green Bay, and Deuce McAllister against Sean Alexander. And early on, Ray Rhodes, the defensive coordinator, has guys like Anthony Simmons who come chasing the back.
Well, and look at the speed. Look at the speed of Simmons as he comes from the backside. The great job of getting him down. Then Trufant. Right here. Marcus Trufant, great job of making a nice read, coming up and stuffing on the play. And I think that McAllister took a little exception to being hit on the knees.
57 yards only rushing for McAllister. Meanwhile, Matt Hasselbeck. How about that throw to Sean Alexander? And Alexander's marching band does the rest. Into the end zone, touchdown, 7-0 Seahawks. Still same score, second quarter, Seattle at the 6. And Alexander with a whoop, and then a whoop, and then a whoop. That's lucky to Bucky Jones, unlucky from New Britain, Connecticut. Touchdown, 14-0 Seahawks. Third quarter. Seahawks up 14-7, Seattle at the 9, and again Alexander. Zipping outside. 3 touchdowns for Alexander, 21-7 Seattle.
Brilliant run, seeing the cutback lane, but unfortunate right here, Boom.
But an injury here, and this looked awful. I mean, that's a turf injury. Look, the Seahawks on a long flight as we speak. So the word is right knee, slight sprain, re-examined on Monday, and if that's all it is, they're lucky. Morris came in, he's capable. I mean, Sean Alexander, this team is going to go where it has a chance to go. They need Sean Alexander. 21-7, Seattle. And the story within the story here, do you know that Seattle doesn't play their 4th home game this year till November 21st? So if they can figure out that road thing a little bit and have all those games at home late, they're going to really be a force, Tom.
Coach Holmgren will get that figured out. But he needs Sean Alexander to do that.
They're on the road again next week at Tampa Bay. No short flights for the Seahawks. When we return, Terrell Owens' debut as an Eagle, pretty darn good. pretty much missed all of last season, just started a few games in December. Jim Moreeeee, first game as head coach in his old Holland Candlestick, where he's defensive coordinator. He watches all defense. Julian Peterson stripped the ball from Vic, and Michael had a tough start. Niners do have good defensive players, and Moreeeee knows that. There, late first quarter, Vic to Algie Crumpler, one of the great names in football. 22 yards, he crumples to his way for a first down. 4th and 2, reverse to Peerless Price. And Atlanta opening up the playbook with Greg Knapp, the former offensive coordinator, Niners. And then Vic to Crumpler, evades the defense. 15-yard touchdown. Atlanta leads at Candlestick 7-0 late first. Second quarter, here come the Niners, but Tim Rattay, the starting quarterback for San Francisco, sacked by Rod Coleman, injured, leaves the game. And so Ken Dorsey from the University of Miami comes in. Meanwhile, 7-0 still. Vic Price, nice, 20 yards. Warwick Dunn scores a touchdown. It's 14-0. Score 14-6. Dorsey drilled by Keith Brooking. He leaves the game. Rattay has to come back in. Down 14-6, the Niners. Rattay going to lead him to perhaps the tying touchdown, but he floats it. And Aaron Beasley, he could go, all the way. Look at this run by, 85 yards. Wow, what a play. That sets up, speaking of spins, Warwick Dunn swimming upfield. Look at this, and then, sheesh. 9 yards, and the Falcons in control, 21-6. But the Niners have scored, make it 21-13. Rattay to Cedric Wilson. Wait a minute now. This is Dorsey. Here we go. And Rattay, they get close to Eric Johnson. And they go for 2, and the pass deflected by Coleman. So...
Well, great job of fighting through some defenders, deflect the pass. That's as important a play as they had during the course of the game. That actually saved the football game.
Well, so here it is, San Francisco scoring late and scoring again. Could not convert on the 2-point conversion. And Coleman, the big play. And San Francisco at home had a shot. But Jim Moreeeee is the only first-time ever head coach that would win out of the 3 on this one day.
Well, you said how difficult it is. You're bringing in your system to a new team. It's a difficult task to get off and get that over.
Welcome to the NFL. Moreeeee wins a heart beater. Malarkey loses a heart beater. Lovie Smith loses a heart beater. Hello, you're now the head coach. The Cowboys at the Vikings. Vinny Testaverde starting for Bill Parcells and the Cowboys. The Angelus Wonder at 40. 3-0 Dallas second quarter, and Matt McBriar fumbles the snap. Dallas turns it over.
This was a 22-play drive, boom, that lasted almost 12 minutes that they got nothing out of at the end of it.
Meanwhile, Dante Culpepper to Ontario Smith, running all the way to Manitoba. Touchdown, 63 yards, 7-3 Minnesota, even though Dallas, as you point out, totally controlled the first quarter. Late second now, Testaverde to Terry Glenn. Oh, look at the dive by Glenn, 32-yard touchdown. We got a game, 14-10, the Vikes at the half.
Full extension, official looking right on it. You can see how really focused he was on it. Great grab, came down in bounds.
Randy Moss has had huge games against the Cowboys. On this one, not a lot in the stat category, but about that tough play, touchdown, 3-yard touchdown, and the extra point is good at 21-10. Then, this is Richard Lee, 7 yards. He had a big kickoff return, his first NFL touchdown, so returning on kicks, then running 21-17. Moss gonna throw it! The wobbler to Marcus Robinson, cuckoo-ca-choo, 37-yard completion. Same drive. Culpepper. Again, you catch a couple touchdowns. They don't always have to be bombs.
That's right.
And the score 28-17. Moss into the stands. The Homer Dome leap. Vinny trying to make something happen. Boy, he and Keyshawn hooked up enough today. But on this one, he's hit hard by Brian Williams. Yikes. Next play. Testaverde to Johnson. This time Williams drills him again, but Keyshawn holding on. He caught 9 for 111. Antonio Bryant caught 8 for 112. Then the pitch to Richie Anderson, and this won't please Bill. Fumble. Vikings recover. The next possession, Culpepper trying to put this thing out of reach to Kelly Campbell. Nice! Touchdown, 43 yards, and the Vikings, boy, at home, they are a force, especially Culpepper, throwing for 242, and here's the big stat. Look at that. 5 touchdown passes. Vinny outthrew him by 100 yards, but when you throw 5 TDs, you're going to win most games. And the Vikings win it 35-17, and an impressive opener for them. Meanwhile, Giants of the Eagles. T.O. Terrell Owens making his first start as an Eagle. Tom Coughlin back as head coach, this time with the New York Football Giants. Giants led the game 7-0. Brian Westbrook, what a great player he's going to be. Got hurt last December. 50-yard run. Westbrook had 119 yards on this day. Later in this drive, here you go now. Donovan McNabb, pump fake, dart to Terrell Owens. Beautiful touchdown, 7-7.
Didn't take these too long to get on the same page. We're going to take another look at the route. A stop and a go. You get Will Allen biting on the play. That's an easy pitch and catch for Donovan McNabb and T.O.
Second quarter, this is McNabb rolling out. And how about this play? Wow! He fought the time. It looked like he was going to be out of bounds. He wasn't.
Well, and I thought a better play because T.O. gave him a place to throw the football, something that Donovan hasn't always had.
Jeremiah Trotter back with the nails the punter, Jeff Philadelphia Feagles. He was fortunate he was okay later on. This is, he only gave up his number to Eli Manning. I mean, it's been tough so far. McNabb, Owens, 3 times a charm. Now the crowd pumped up with the new... The flopping eagle, I don't know, they'll have a name for it. 12-yard touchdown, 31-10 Philly. Kurt Warner fumbles as they're going in, and Javon Curse, another New Eagle, picks it up. And now Eli Manning, time for him to make his NFL debut. And you know what? If he's going to hand it off every time and get this result, you'll see a lot more of him. Tiki Barber, 72 yards, gone. 31-17. Good handoff, Eli. Then Manning steps up, and Jerome McDougal. Oh, boy. The Giants pick up the ball. Whoa, this is the NFL. It's not the SEC.
Ooh.
Oh, boy. McDougal, #1 pick a year ago, nails him, but Eli hangs with it. Kurt Warner, not happy. Played all right, Tom. And the Eagles win it 31-17. They lost 3 opening day games in a row. So, again, this is something that they hadn't done since 2000. Our man Jaws with Terrell Owens after the game.
Thank you very much. T.O., you're on track for 48 touchdown passes this season. How good does that feel starting off with 3 today?
It feels good, man. I just want to thank God. And, he's put me in the best situation, getting me out of San Fran, putting me where I need to be. Put me with a great group of guys, and, this is the way to start the season.
Conventional wisdom tells us, it takes about a half a season for a quarterback and a wide receiver to get that chemistry going. You disproved that today. How do you feel about that?
I mean, that's one of the main reasons I wanted to come here. Playing with a guy like Donovan, I know what he has with that athletic ability back there. The line blocked well. I mean, we just played good as a team.
Did you want to make a statement today?
Definitely. This is what I wanted to do. Anytime I come out and step on the field, I try to envision myself making plays, scoring touchdowns, and, I know my reason for being here, and that's to try to get us over the hump and get us to the Super Bowl, and, we made a good start at it today.
All right, T.O., congratulations. Thank you very much. Back to the studio.
All right, Jaws, Terrell Owens, thanks. So he catches 3 touchdowns. He and McNabb are going to play pitch and catch. They're just looking fun with it. They're like kids in a playground.
Well, the wide receivers for the Eagles only caught 5 touchdowns all of last year. He caught 3 in the first game. So, he's looking at a tremendous season. But I think the key is that chemistry that they talked about. And what you've got is one of the more athletic quarterbacks in this league, and you've got a guy who's as athletic on the other end of the passes.
It's going to be fun to watch this develop when we return. Opening Sunday prime performers. Tom and I will dole out the hardware, have a final word or 2 on week 1.
Presented by Miller Lite. Grab yourself a great-tasting low-carb Miller Lite. And in part by NFL Sunday Ticket, only from DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV or visit your local retailer for details.
Well, it's always good to start the year with a game ball, huh? I mean, doled out even by us, even if it's not the coach. I mean, we had, they're a lot worthy.
Well, there was a lot worthy, but mine's going to go to Curtis Martin. I thought that his 29 carries for 196 yards, he scored a rushing TD and a receiving TD, and it was the 7th best opening day performance by a running back in NFL history. And I think anytime you can put that behind, that's the punctuation behind the game ball, I think he deserves it.
Hey, look, when you break an 11 game, when you break a 24-game road losing streak, however you do it, and you get a blocked field goal return by Bracey Walker, who's been a special teams ace wherever he's been. And you get the game-ending interception from him, the 11th-year man from North Carolina. He gets my prime-time performing game ball. Week 1, in the books.
In the books.
Welcome back. For Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching NFL Prime Time. Sunday Night Football coming up. Chiefs-Broncos. Legendary games, legendary names, an old-school battle in the AFC West.
The 88th meeting between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos, and this has become one of the most intense rivalries anywhere in the NFL. And tonight should be no exception. Good evening, I'm Pat Summerall, and welcome to another year of Sunday Night Football on ESPN. Paul McGuire and Joe Theismann are with me, and you couldn't get two more evenly matched teams or two more serious people about beating each other than these two. Joe, Kansas City, #1 scoring, #1 offensive team in the NFL. How have they been able to accomplish that?
Well, Pat, they basically have done it on the legs of Priest Holmes. Here's a guy who scored 27 rushing touchdowns last year, set an NFL record. He also happened to be the leading receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. He has a great running style. You'll see him tonight. He'll glide and all of a sudden burst. He has speed. He has power. The one team he's had trouble running against have been the Denver Broncos. This is a team last year that he was not able to get 100 yards against on the ground. If the Chiefs have a chance at winning this football game, Priest definitely has to get 100 tonight.
All right, Joe and Paul, Denver has lost a lot of weapons, including Clinton Portis. How are they going to replace him?
Well, you know, Pat, if you look at the history of this football team and the way they run the ball, it just doesn't matter. I know they lost a 1,500-yard rusher in Portis, but they have Quentin Griffin. This guy is more than adequate. And if you're worried about his durability because he's 5'7" and he only weighs 195 pounds, forget about it. When he was at the University of Oklahoma, he carried the ball over 700 times. And another thing, his mother said, you know, he's shy and he doesn't like to be the center of attention. Well, young man, tonight you will be in the spotlight.
Well, Clinton Portis is gone, no longer a Bronco, but Champ Bailey is here. And for more on Champ, let's go down to Susie Colbert.
Pat, there is no doubt that the most debated trade in the offseason was running back Clinton Portis for cornerback Champ Bailey. And a lot of people wondered how Mike Shanahan could trade 14 touchdowns for 2 interceptions. Well, Shanahan, who has 3 Super Bowl trophies at his house, says, take a look at this. 3 out of the last 4 Super Bowl champs were #1 in points allowed. If you want to win it all, it's defense first. And he added, he's had a lot of successful backs, but shutdown corners are much harder to find. As far as impacting the defense, Bronco after Bronco told us the mentality of the whole D is more aggressive because Champ's got them covered. And it doesn't end there. Quarterback Jake Plummer said going against Bailey in practice has forced him to focus more. Veteran Rod Smith agrees. Learning ways to beat Bailey has made him better. But the true test begins tonight, and we've got Champ Bailey wired.
I just need 2 balls. If I can get 2 balls, I'm telling you. Because I know that first one, I'm going to be a little... I'm ready, though.
المركز الرياضي يضعك في الصفوف الأمامية.
Mile high. The Chiefs have never won here. ESPN presents Visa Skycam, innovative technology on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Visa Skycam provides some of the most unique and memorable images ever seen from angles that no other single camera in the world can achieve. We're excited to bring it to you every Sunday night. Now let's join public address announcer Alan Roach.
The cast members from the Denver Center Attractions Broadway production of Heaven Help Us. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise to honor America. This weekend marks the 3rd anniversary of the tragic events of September 11th, 2001. As we kick off the 2004 NFL regular season, we ask you to remember how our lives changed that day. We also remember the men and women of our armed forces and all of those who have given their lives in the service of our country.
So proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Kickoff coming up. That's the way the national anthem should be sung. We'll be ready to go in just a minute.
It's fun to let the big dog eat. I like that crowd behind me saying, "Rip it and rip it? Heck yeah. Crush it whenever I get the chance." I think it's a great way to start a hole. At the bank. I don't think it'd be nearly as much fun if you're putting first.
Charles Howell, one of the many stars you'll see in the PGA on ESPN.
ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
The captains at the center of the field for the toss of the coin. The Chiefs and the Broncos. They do not necessarily like each other.
Probably the single most classic rivalry in football today. A lot of teams have moved on, expansion, free agency. These two teams have maintained that rivalry no matter who's coaching.
Look at the Chiefs' record under Dick Vermeil. Better every year, and Vermeil thinks they'll be better this year. He says this is the best team he's ever seen, meaning his own team. Across the way is Mike Shanahan, one of the most brilliant offensive minds in the NFL or in football. And his success here is well known. Both of them outstanding gentlemen.
Well, you know, you say these two teams really dislike each other. They do as soon as this ball is kicked off. That's when they really dislike each other. Well, you know, you're going to see it. Then you're going to whack each other.
I think the other thing, too, is there's a tremendous amount of respect for the fans in each hometown. Yep. It's unbelievable, the home field advantage that these teams enjoy.
And there's nothing like opening day. There's nothing like both teams have finished with training camp. They've stopped all the foolishness. They stopped arresting people. Now they're ready to go. They're both 0-0. Dante Hall, as you would expect, back to receive for Kansas City. And look what he did last year. Longest, well, it could be longer, I guess, if somebody could kick it that far. He's back deep for Kansas City. Jason Elam Micah Noor, I beg your pardon. Elam doesn't kick off anymore. Micah Noor does. He also punts.
I'm sorry, Pat, I can't hear you. This is unbelievable.
There is some noise in Invesco. And I don't think they're cheering Skycam right now. Good, solid kick out of the end zone. That's one way to take care of Dante Hall. Kansas City's offense is anchored by one of the best lines in football, anchored by Will Shields. 9 consecutive years he's gone to the Pro Bowl. The linebackers, I beg your pardon, the wide receivers. Dante Hall, who was just back, has become a wide receiver and a very dangerous one. The quarterback is Trent Green, and he's the catalyst. Outside is Priest Holmes on first carry. Priest gets about 5.
Now, the one thing, let's get this in there. Trevor Price, who is a defensive end, but he's now playing tackle for the Denver Broncos, said to us in a meeting, which I thought was interesting. He said Priest Holmes is the fastest guy in football with a ball in his hand. That's hard to believe.
2 tight ends for Kansas City this time. Dunn and Gonzalez. Fake to Holmes. Trent Green looking deep. And throwing deep and wide open. Dante Hall, he fell down. If Eddie Kennison, I'm sorry, if he didn't fall down, he would have scored.
Oh, boy. Trent Green aired this out, and Eddie Kennison did everything he could to get there. If this ball was thrown just a little bit shorter, Eddie Kennison would have taken it in stride in the end zone. Trent, great protection by the offensive line. Look at him extend for that ball. Just manages to hold his balance. Now he tries to get up. As he gets up, the ball gets knocked loose. I would challenge that if I was Mike Shanahan.
They've already said it was a fumble.
Ruling on the field is the receiver was down by contact. First down, Kansas City.
Boy, the Kansas City.
Now I would challenge it.
Here it comes.
Well, let me see. If the ruler's down.
He's down by contact. Why challenge?
You can't.
57-yard pickup. Trent Green to Eddie Kennison.
Well, I tell you, take a look at this. Now, Kennison, you talk about concentration on the ball. Now, if they go the other way, here's you say, well, he's better off staying down. But he really thought he had him beaten so bad that he could get up and score.
How can you call that down by contact?
Yeah,
his knees were not on the ground. Al Wilson hits him when he's standing up. Mike Shanahan has every right to be upset, and it should be challenged.
Contact is not a challengeable play. First down.
Why don't I start right now the first week of the year?
Go ahead.
Okay? The competition committee of the National Football League, if they want to use instant replay to make the game fair, should make this a challengeable call. Mike Shanahan's Denver Broncos just had an opportunity taken away from them because of a problem with the rule.
Priest Holmes and Tony Richardson. It's 1st and 10 at about the 18 for Kansas City. And let's get even.
Marco Coleman.
Yeah.
Ball start. 88 off.
But he was pulled off.
Still first down.
Denver's defensive line, Trevor Price, normally, and had been playing defensive end. Now he's moved inside. He says he doesn't mind. The linebackers are led by Al Wilson in the middle, and he is the catalyst. He will hit you. In the secondary, John Lynch, longtime Tampa Bay veteran. He brings leadership and contact to the secondary. Priest Holmes around the corner.
Pat, let me tell you something. When Trevor Price told us that he's the fastest guy with the football, you want to see someone get to the outside fast, faster than most people I know. Watch Priest Holmes, number 31. Tony Gonzalez is sealing off on the outside, but look at how quick. Al Wilson makes a mistake by going inside, but look at how fast he gets to the outside. And then that's Champ Bailey coming up to make the play. Man.
Second down. They need about 7.
Sometimes it's not the big, long runs that impress you, but it's runs like that where he goes right up inside. Now, we're not talking about the biggest back. He's only 5'9", a little over 200 pounds. But you watch him take the cut, go right up into the middle, and take the contact, and winds up with a 4-yard gain.
Every time I think about the fact that he spent 4 years in Baltimore before he came to the Chiefs as a free agent.
When the Chiefs get down into the red zone, they just don't settle for any kind of scores. That was 70% scoring touchdowns.
3 wideouts, set to the right, no backs. Trent Green looking, a lot of time. Pass to Johnny Morton, I believe.
Boy, I'll tell you what, just Trent Green just shows. They talked about him in training camp, Joe, and everybody's talking about how not adequate, how great he was in training camp and how well he's throwing the football. That time he threw the ball sidearm. He can deliver it any way he has to.
Came off a great year last year, Pro Bowl season last year, here first one. 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. One of 2 guys in the league over 4,000 yards throwing.
Kennison in motion. Hand off to Holmes. Down to about the 2.
This is a classic Kansas City Chief run. You'll see Priest Holmes, because of the athleticism of the offensive line. Watch how they stretch Denver's defense. See the offensive lineman? Now what he does, very patiently, follows Tony Richardson, waits for him to kick out, and then turns up inside.
Everybody, including the center, Casey Wigman, pulls on a play like that. Green high. Out of the reach of Gonzalez, I believe.
Kenoy Kennedy, number 28, is back there with him. This ball was just thrown up, and the only one that's really going to get it is Tony Gonzalez. Watch this. Trent Green is now waiting on him. Kenoy Kennedy does a terrific job of coverage here, and there was only one place for him to throw the ball, and that was high and away.
And keep in mind now, even though it's going into the end zone, there's still the 5-yard chuck rule. Kenoy Kennedy did a good job of getting his hands off of Tony Richardson when it happened. Tony Gonzalez.
2 at the 2. Close.
No, that's not close. That's it.
Touchdown. Priest Holmes with a backward nudge. Got it in.
You know, it's funny about Priest Holmes last year. He says, last year all I want to do is score touchdowns.